welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and I'm back with another Everton 24/7 news roundup, where today the big headline is, with the Andre Gomes deal edging ever closer to completion, even if it hasn't yet still been announced, Everton have started to put a lot more emphasis on the re-signing of Zouma. Today the Daily Telegraph have said that Everton have officially opened talks with Chelsea to negotiate a permanent transfer. Obviously, this one is going to be a lot less straightforward than the Gomez one, given that Chelsea are still waiting to find out whether their transfer ban will be overturned upon an appeal. If that appeal is rejected, it will most likely be an uphill struggle to get Zouma permanently without seriously overspending, which Marcel Brands is never too keen on. So I'd imagine that we'll be looking at a couple of weeks at least before we make any sort of headway on this transfer. And even that is dependent on whether or not Chelsea will listen to offers if their embargo has been upheld. Of course, it's good to see Everton, regardless, being proactive on the transfer front with making our loan deals permanent, but the sooner we know where we stand, the better, and certainly don't rule out Everton going after an alternative centre-back this summer. One of those alternatives could well be Real Sociedad's Diego Llorente. According to Noticias del Guipuzcoa, basically the San Sebastian equivalent of the Echo, they reckon despite Llorente having a €50 million release clause, Sociedad may well be willing to accept around €30 million or 26 million quid for the defender, who is entering his prime at 25 years old. The same article also makes a brief suggestion we may be back in for Sociedad striker Willian Jose, a Brazilian striker who scored 20 times in all competitions last season and has been linked to Everton many a time before in the post-Romelu Lukaku striking issues era. Could this be the summer that Willian Jose finally comes to England and to Everton? Watch that space. We said the rumours linking us to Moise Kean, however, from Juventus were unlikely to be anything more than just rumours, and that has proven to be the case. He's set to sign a new contract, which will treble his wage at Juventus, according to our Italian friends who are ever outspoken, Calcio Mercato. And they reckon that the arrival of Maurizio Sarri as manager of Juventus from Chelsea has expedited his decision to stay put in Turin. A final potential arrival, and Lucas Ocampos of Marseille, an Argentine winger, another player we've been linked with. He's a versatile winger, and apparently Marseille are keen to balance their books this summer, and Ocampos is expected to leave for some sort of transfer fee, given his contract is expiring at Marseille next summer. Now, this lad does seem like he's been around for years. I can remember him back at Monaco in around 2013. And he's still only 24, so it does suit our transfer policy from an age perspective. However, from a tactical perspective, I can't see it happening. He'd be yet another right-footed winger to add to the plethora that we've already got. I can't see it being sanctioned, at least until perhaps someone like maybe Theo Walcott, Lookman, or Onyekuru, who's coming back. One of those has maybe moved on. On that very topic, we mentioned yesterday Nikola Vlasic left Everton for CSK in Moscow on a permanent deal, and that transfer has been officially announced by Everton as well today. Now, today's rumours suggest a similar scenario may well be on the cards for the aforementioned Henry Onyekuru. He is looking to make his Galatasaray loan permanent, and Everton may still want to keep him while they look for the work permit, but Football Arena in Turkey, another of the many Turkish news outlets, are suggesting he could return for another loan spell. Personally, I can't see Everton sanctioning that. This seems like this should be the make or break summer for Henry, and I think he will either stay and play if he gets his work permit, or otherwise the only alternative will be to find a permanent buyer and cash in and move on. I also brought you the news yesterday that Leighton Baines has signed a new one-year contract extension, and if Football Insider speculation turns out to be true, that new contract could have ramifications for our young left-back Anthony Robinson, who spent last season on loan at Wigan Athletic. He could be set to make that deal permanent for a suggested fee of around £1.9 million. Now, he may well leave, and it is very possible given the new Baines deal. But given Brands' tactical acumen in these situations, I'd like to think that if he were to leave it for a slightly higher transfer fee. I mean, I'm just thinking about Dominic Solanke. If he's worth 19 million, Anthony Robinson's surely worth about 5 at least. Okay, granted, we are selling to a championship side, but let's not kid ourselves. The championship itself is awash with cash, and if they want him, I'm sure they can find the cash, and I'm sure Papa Marcel will be more than willing to help them search for it. Now, onto a transfer rumour which doesn't directly involve Everton at all, but if our former striker, Romelu Lukaku, should leave Man United this summer, as is ex-Everton and now Belgian manager Roberto Martinez has suggested maybe he should, we could be set to gain a 5 million cut of whatever transfer fee Manchester United get, which can only serve to help Marcel Brands in funding some new signings during the rest of this summer. Another shortcoming, though, perhaps, of Steve Walsh we've seen there, as I've hoped that there's been a bigger sell-on clause inserted in the sale of a player that he left Everton at 24, just coming into his prime, and we sold him for £75 million. Surely we deserved a more of a cut than 5 million, regardless of the next transfer fee. Who knows what could have happened? Okay, it hasn't worked out for Lukaku, but he could well have been moving on to Real Madrid 2 years down the line. You never know. Maybe I'm being a bit overly negative there, but that's just my opinion. In a summer full of international tournaments, as I have on many occasions this week, I'm going to end with another international roundup. If what we're seeing at the Copa America is anything to go by, perhaps Yerry Mina is starting to find his form again. Granted, Colombia beat a vastly inferior Qatar side 1-0, but throw in the Brazil win from last week and it's 2 clean sheets on the spin for Yerry Mina, and that can be really helpful to Marco Silva. It could make his life a lot easier with the Zouma situation still in the air, as we mentioned earlier, and it could be really easy for Marco Silva if he can start the season with Yerry Mina and Michael Keane going into the campaign on fighting on all fronts, and it might make a bit of an easier start of the season, basically, with Kurt Zouma maybe not getting over the line until maybe the end of the window, or maybe not getting him at all. Well, that's all from Everton 24/7 tonight, as the wait goes on for the much anticipated Andre Gomes announcement. Come on, Everton, get it done. So make sure you let us know your opinion on today's topics in the comments section below. As always, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching on the Toffee Blues.